Good morning. Here we start with the ligaments of the knee joint, in which we are going to discuss the capsular ligament and synovial membrane. These two are the very important, the most important ligaments of the knee joint. Here, ligaments of knee joint, and the first diagram, please draw these line diagrams. The first diagram is the sagittal section, femur, tibia, patella. This is the quadriceps femoris muscle. Leave it as it is. We are going to show the reflections of capsular ligament and synovial membrane. Second diagram over here, please draw. This is the coronal section of the right knee joint, which we are visualizing from the front. This is the femur, condyles of femur, intercondylar notch, and here this is the tibia, and this is the fibula. So therefore, this is the right knee joint coronal section viewed from the front. Similarly, what we are going to draw will be another view in which we are going to take the medial and lateral condyles of the femur. So therefore, in order to understand, we are just going to draw the medial condyle of the femur. Similarly, this is the tibia. This will be the tibia. This is the sagittal section. So therefore, femur and tibia. Similarly, we are going to draw the lateral condyle. Please come on this side. So therefore, we are going to show over here. Now, this will be the lateral condyle of the femur, and again, this is the same tibia and femur. Lateral condyle, medial condyle, sagittal section. Now here we are going to understand, please come on this side, the capsular ligament. In the capsular ligament, I am going to use blue color for the capsular ligament, and for the synovial membrane, I am going to use yellow color. So therefore, capsular ligament is attached at the upper part and lower part. Upper part of capsular ligament, please try and understand, the upper part of the capsular ligament will be attached to the femur. Now in the upper part, as it is attached to the femur, we divide the upper part of capsular ligament into 4 different zones: posterior, anterior, lateral and medial, that is right and left. So therefore, the upper attachment of the capsule of the knee joint, posteriorly, it will be attached to intercondylar notch of the femur. So therefore, if I need to show here, I will show it, please come on this side. If I need to show here the posterior articular surface of the femur, this is the posterior articular surface of the femur, and this will be the tibia. So therefore, the capsular attachment, I am using blue color, this capsular attachment will be attached on the posterior part of intercondylar notch of the femur, upper attachment posteriorly. Similarly, it will cover this articular surface, the articular surface of the medial and lateral condyles of femur posteriorly. So it will cover the articular margin of the medial and lateral condyles, and then it is passing on both the sides, medial and laterally, which we are going to understand in another direction. So here, in this direction, upper attachment of the capsule posteriorly, it will be attached to the intercondylar notch of the femur, and similarly it will cover the articular margins of the condyles of the femur, posterior attachment. So it will cover the articular margins of the condyles of the femur, upper posterior attachment of the capsule. Now the same capsule is attached on the medial and lateral side. So please come on this side. Now here, medial and lateral side, if we consider, this is the medial side. Upper part, medial side, the capsule is attached on the medial surface of the medial condyle of femur, where my hand is there, on its articular margin. So please draw like this. It is attached on the medial surface of the medial condyle of femur, covering the articular surface. but it is attached on the articular margin. And where is this articular margin? Around 1 centimeter above this articular margin is the capsular attachment. So therefore, very simple, medially in the upper part, that is in the femur, the capsule is attached 1 centimeter above the articular margin of the medial surface of the medial condyle of femur. This is the continuation of capsule. This is the attachment. So it will be attached on the medial surface of medial condyle of femur. Exactly where? 1 centimeter above the articular margin. Laterally, where my hand is there. Laterally, on the lateral surface of lateral condyle. So this is the lateral condyle, lateral surface. On the lateral surface of lateral condyle, same as medial, here also, this will be attached 1 centimeter above the articular margin. 1 centimeter above the articular margin. And it will cover the lateral surface of lateral condyle around 1 centimeter above the articular margin of the lateral condyle of femur in such a way that it will enclose here on the lateral surface of lateral condyle of femur, it will enclose the origin of popliteus muscle. So therefore, the origin of popliteus muscle, I will show you that this origin of popliteus muscle will be present here. This is the origin of popliteus muscle. It is intracapsular because it is covered by this capsular margin. Whereas lateral head of gastrocnemius, here I will show the lateral head of gastrocnemius muscle. This is extracapsular. This is the lateral head of gastrocnemius, which is extracapsular. This diagram is very important. So here, this is the lateral upper attachment of the capsular ligament, and now anterior attachment of the capsular ligament. We have discussed the upper posterior attachment of capsular ligament, then we have discussed the medial attachment of the capsular ligament, upper of course, then we have discussed the lateral attachment of capsular ligament, again upper. Now we are going to discuss the anterior attachment of capsular ligament in the upper part. That means this entire capsular attachment in the upper part is surrounding the femur. This entire capsular attachment in the upper part is surrounding the femur. So anteriorly, please come on this side. Now to show anteriorly, I will take the help of this diagram. Anteriorly, the same capsule will be attached on the patellar articular surface of femur. So therefore, this capsule will be attached on the patellar articular surface of the femur here. This is how I will show the attachment. On the patellar articular surface of the femur, this is the attachment, and therefore above this patellar articular surface of femur, it will be open. This capsular ligament will remain open just above the patellar articular surface of femur. Here we end our upper attachment of the capsule. Here we end our upper attachment of the capsule. It is very simple, basically based upon this line diagram only. Now, just above the patellar articular surface of femur, it is deficient. Here I have kept it open. Now the lower attachment present on the tibia, where the capsular ligament is attached in the lower part. Upper part we have discussed. The lower part also we divide into 4 different zones: anterior, posterior, medial, lateral. Just as the upper attachment we have discussed, anterior, posterior, medial and lateral, we started with posterior, then medial, then lateral and then anterior. Same way we are going to discuss the lower attachment on tibia in the form of anterior, posterior, medial, lateral. Please try and draw. Now we start with anterior. Anteriorly it is attached to the tibial tubercle and ligamentum patelli. If I take the help of this diagram, ligamentum patelli, I will show that it is connecting the apex of the patella with that of the tibia. So this is ligamentum patelli. So therefore, the capsule in the lower part, in the tibia, will be attached anteriorly to the tubercle of tibia and ligamentum patelli. So I will show that this capsule will be attached like this. this is how the capsule is attached. So it is attached to the tubercle of tibia here, and it is merging with ligamentum patelli anteriorly in the lower part. Now posteriorly. Now posteriorly, I will take the help of, please come on this side. This is the posterior. Please come on this side. This is the posterior. So here, in the lower part, posteriorly, the capsule is attached to the posterior part of intercondylar area of tibia. This is the posterior region of intercondylar area of tibia. Posteriorly. Then medial and lateral. So medial and laterally, the capsule, once again, we are discussing the lower part that is attached to the tibia. So medial and laterally, it will cover the medial and lateral condyles of tibia. How it will cover the medial and lateral condyles of tibia? By attaching to the articular margins of the medial and lateral condyles of tibia. This is the statement. So therefore, capsule in the lower part will be attached to the posterior intercondylar area of tibia posteriorly. Medially, it is attached covering the medial condyle of tibia, covering the medial articular margin. Laterally, it is attached on the lateral condyle of tibia, covering the lateral articular margin. So this is how the lower attachment is present in case of the capsular attachment in the lower part on the tibia. Now please come on this side. So therefore, the entire capsule is covering the entire knee joint. Upper attachment to the femur, lower attachment to the tibia, and each upper and lower attachment we have divided and explained in posterior, anterior, medial, lateral. Similarly, lower also, anterior, posterior, medial, lateral. This is how the capsule will pack the entire knee joint, if you understand it by the line diagram. And if I consider the lower attachment on these two diagrams, I should make the capsular margin in this way. This is the sagittal section of the medial side. Medial condyle of femur, medial condyle of tibia. So this is the medial side of the lower attachment of the capsule, which is covering the medial articular margin on the medial condyle of tibia. Similarly over here, lateral condyle of femur, lateral condyle of tibia, sagittal section. So this capsule will cover the lateral articular margin of the tibia. This is the lower attachment of capsule in the lateral view. Very simple, do not complicate. This is how the capsule is attached. Now, when we come on this side, please come on this side. As we have understood the capsular attachment in the upper part around the femur, in the lower part around the tibia, we have understood. The same capsule here, I will show that it is attached in this way. So, this is how the capsule is attached. Now, in the front, the entire capsule will be attached to the articular margin of patella and ligamentum patelli. So, this will be attached on articular margin of patella and ligamentum patelli. Here I am drawing in the front. So, in the front, the capsule is attached on the articular margin of patella as well as ligamentum patelli. And what about above the patella? Above the patella, this is very important. Above the patella, this capsule is deficient. This is where it is deficient. So that there will be one synovial pouch which is called suprapatellar synovial bursa. And that suprapatellar synovial bursa will project in this way. So, if I put an arrow, this is the suprapatellar synovial bursa. So, superiorly, above the patella and above the patellar articular surface of femur, the capsule is deficient. Why it is deficient? For the synovial pouch. So, this synovial pouch, which is formed by synovial membrane, can project or evaginate upwards. And where does it evaginate upwards? It will form an apex upwards in between vastus, these are the vasti group, that is the quadriceps femoris muscles, and anterior surface of the lower end of femur. So in the space between the quadriceps femoris muscle and the anterior surface of lower end of femur, there is an outpouching of suprapatellar synovial pouch or suprapatellar synovial bursa, and that outpouching is because of deficiency in the capsular attachment above the level of patella. So this much we have understood. This is the entire attachment of the capsule. Now you have to add one important sentence. Now this sentence is often asked as MCQs or maybe in 1 mark question answer. The entire capsule, as we have understood, it is attached upper level with the femur anterior posterior medial lateral, lower level with the tibia anterior posterior medial lateral, anteriorly with the patella, ligament and patelli, and superiorly above the patella as well as articular, the patellar articular surface of femur where it is deficient. Superiorly it is deficient for the passage of outpouching of what? Of suprapatellar synovial pouch. Now this capsule will provide reinforcements. Now the word which is used in some textbooks is reinforcements or simple. If we want to understand in simple language, there are certain ligaments or certain structures which are attached to this capsule of the knee joint. What are those ligaments and structures which are attached to the capsule of the knee joint? They are called reinforcements. For example, now we start with posterior region. The entire posterior region here, if I show that this is the capsule posteriorly, this is the capsule posterior, the entire posterior region of the capsule has reinforcement or it is strengthened by oblique popliteal ligament. Now this oblique popliteal ligament is one of the ligaments of knee joint which will come up in the later segment. So oblique popliteal ligament will be attached to the posterior part of the capsule of the knee joint. So it is written beautifully in some textbooks that the capsular ligament is strengthened posteriorly by oblique popliteal ligament. That means oblique popliteal ligament fibers will be attached to the posterior part of the capsule of the knee joint. That is number 1, oblique popliteal ligament. Number 2, the same capsule is strengthened medially. Now here, if I want to show medially, now supposing this is the coronal section, anteriorly, right, knee joint. And here, if I show the capsular attachment, I am going to show the capsular attachment like this. This is the capsular attachment I am going to show. Now, in coronal section, this is the capsular attachment. So, therefore, medially, this is medial, this is lateral because this is fibula, this is tibia. So, medial is tibia, lateral is fibula, coronal section of knee joint, anteriorly. Medially, the capsule is strengthened by tibial collateral ligament. And this tibial collateral ligament, I am going to show, this is our tibial collateral ligament itself. So that means medially, the tibial collateral ligament is attached to the capsule. That means it is strengthened by medial collateral, tibial collateral ligament only, which is also called medial collateral ligament of knee joint or tibial collateral ligament. So medially the capsule is strengthened by tibial collateral ligament, posteriorly it was strengthened by oblique popliteal ligament. Now medially again there is one medial patellar retinacula. So therefore this medially the capsule of the knee joint is also strengthened by medial patellar retinaculum. That is another word which you need to understand. Now we come anterolaterally. Anterolaterally, if you view it anterolaterally on this side, the entire capsule will be strengthened by 2 structures. What are those 2 structures? Anterolaterally, the entire capsule is strengthened by 2 structures, and that will be the lateral patellar retinaculum as well as iliotibial tract. So please note down, there will be the lateral patellar retinaculum as well as iliotibial tract. If I draw it faintly, this is the lateral patellar retinaculum, as well as there will be the presence of, if I just show it, there will be the presence of iliotibial tract anterolaterally. So anterolaterally, the capsule is strengthened by medial patellar retinaculum and iliotibial tract. Anteromedially, it is strengthened by, if I draw in this way, the medial patellar retinaculum. Medially it is strengthened by tibial collateral ligament. Posteriorly, the capsule is strengthened by oblique popliteal ligament. 5 structures. Once again, I'll repeat. The capsule provides attachment to these 5 structures, or the capsule is strengthened by these 5 structures. Posteriorly, oblique popliteal ligament. Medially, tibial collateral ligament. Anteromedially, the medial patellar retinaculum. Anterolaterally, we have the lateral patellar retinaculum, as well as iliotibial tract. So in this way, the 5 structures will strengthen the capsule from posterior, medial, anteromedial to anterolateral. Please note down these 5 structures. Here, this capsule will have deficiency in 2 regions. That means the capsule is deficient in 2 different regions. The first region, which we have already discussed, if we see here, suprapatellar synovial pouch. Suprapatellar synovial pouch. This is a suprapatellar synovial bursa or pouch, where superiorly the capsule is deficient. And second deficiency in the capsule will be, now this point can be asked in 1 mark question answer in MCQ. The second deficiency of the capsule will be behind the lateral condyle of the tibia. Please come on this side. Behind the lateral condyle of tibia, this is the posterior coronal section. So behind the lateral condyle of tibia, there will be passage of popliteus muscle. So for the passage of this popliteus muscle behind the lateral condyle of tibia, there will be a slight deficiency in the capsular attachment, because it will cover the popliteus muscle. It will allow the passage of popliteus muscle from intracapsular to the extracapsular pathway. That is why the capsule is deficient. Second place, where the capsule is deficient in the second place, behind the lateral condyle of the tibia for the passage of popliteus. So here we finish the capsule. Please come on this side. Now, after finishing the capsule, we are going to study synovial membrane. Now, in order to study synovial membrane, these 2 are, as I keep on repeating, these 2 are very important ligaments, capsular ligament and synovial membrane. You just need to understand this. Now, synovial membrane, please note down, it will be attached to the inner margin of the capsule. Wherever capsule is attached to its inner surface, the entire synovial membrane is attached. So therefore, if I show the synovial membrane, yellow color, I can show this synovial membrane which is attached to the inner margin of capsule. This is how the synovial membrane is attached. Entire inner margin of the capsule. Now this synovial membrane, this is the synovial membrane which is attached to the inner margin. But this synovial membrane will also line those parts of the bone which are intracapsular. It will line the parts of the bone which are intracapsular. This is another important statement. Now the third important statement which you should note down is, if we come on this diagram, coronal section. Now here, the third important statement, first I will complete this. This is the margins of the femur and the margins of tibia which I need to show. Third important statement, the synovial membrane will cease. That means it will not cover. It will not cover what structures? It will not cover the articular cartilages and the menisci. So where are the articular cartilages? The articular cartilages, if I show this condyle of femur here, these 2 condyles of femur, these are the articular cartilages. It is covered by this articular cartilage, the condyle of femur. Similarly, the articular cartilage will be present here on the tibia. So it is present on the tibia also. This is the articular cartilage. So these are the articular cartilages covering the condyles of femur and tibia. So synovial membrane will not line the articular cartilages, 1 mark question answer, and also it will not line the menisci. Where should I show the menisci? Menisci in coronal section, it is present in this way. These are the menisci. So you have to show the menisci in coronal section and see that the peripheral margin of menisci is attached to the capsule. That means the inner surface of the capsule will provide attachment to the peripheral margin of the menisci, both lateral menisci and medial menisci. Now here I am going to draw the medial menisci. So this is how I am showing the medial menisci. Please note down, once again I am telling you, the menisci will be attached on the inner surface of the capsule. But the synovial membrane will not cover the menisci, it will not cover the surface of menisci. So therefore, this synovial membrane, if I show in this diagram, it is lining the inner part of the capsule, it is lining the inner part of the capsule, it is lining the inner part of the capsule here also, then it will cover the inner part of the intracapsular part of the bones, it will cover the inner part of intracapsular part of the bones, here I am showing till here. But it will not cover articular cartilages and also it will not cover these two menisci. So it will cease at this point. It will cease at the menisci and it will cease at the articular cartilages. At the margins of articular cartilage it will cease and at the menisci it will cease. This is how it will be present. Synovial membrane. Now this synovial membrane inside, you have to show that this synovial membrane will cover in this way. This is how you have to show how the synovial membrane is present inside. And here also it will cease at this border. It will not cover the articular cartilages. This is how the synovial membrane is present. And similarly the synovial membrane you can show in this way it is covering. So therefore, synovial membrane will cover the entire capsule around its inner surface. It will line the capsule from its inner surface. Second, it will cover the intracapsular part of the bones. Third, it will not cover the articular cartilages and the menisci. It will not cover. These are the three important points. Now, modifications of synovial membrane in knee joint. What are the modifications? There are two modifications. And the third modification is not a modification, but it is the tracing how the synovial membrane is attached in horizontal section. So these three important points we are going to discuss. The first point, please come on this side. First modification of synovial membrane is this, which we have already drawn previously, and that is suprapatellar synovial pouch, suprapatellar synovial membrane or suprapatellar synovial bursa, either of these terms. So therefore, the synovial membrane will show a suprapatellar bursa in which it is projected above the capsule where the capsule is deficient, and where the capsule is deficient, above the patella or the patellar articular surface of femur it is deficient. So therefore it will project as suprapatellar synovial bursa, in which the apex is pointed upwards and the base will be down. So therefore here I am going to mention this as suprapatellar bursa. This is the first projection of the synovial membrane, suprapatellar bursa. The apex of the suprapatellar bursa will show the attachment with articularis genu muscle. Articularis genu muscle. Now, lower down, there will be another second projection of synovial membrane, and that will be also triangular. And that synovial projection, which is called infrapatellar fold. So this infrapatellar fold, you show it like this. This is the infrapatellar fold, in which the apex is attached to the intercondylar notch on the femur. It is attached to the lower margin of intercondylar notch of the femur. Base will be attached to ligamentum patelli, which will extend from apex of patella to the tibial condyle of the femur, not tibial condyle of the tibia. So therefore, the base is attached to the entire ligamentum patelli. This triangular fold will form the second projection of the synovial membrane, which will be known as infrapatellar fold. This is the second projection, infrapatellar fold. First is suprapatellar synovial bursa or suprapatellar synovial fold or suprapatellar pouch. And the second is infrapatellar fold. Now comes the third and the final. It is not a projection, but it is the reflection of the synovial membrane. A beautiful reflection of synovial membrane which you need to understand, and that we are going to draw on this side. Here I am going to create some space on this side, and we are going to draw the coronal section of the tibia as well as the femur. And in that coronal section, we are going to show the entire reflection of the synovial membrane. So therefore here we are going to show, let us draw here the coronal section of the tibia. So here we are going to show the coronal section of the tibia. Superior surface of the coronal section of the tibia, rather it is the horizontal section of the tibia. So horizontal section of the superior surface of the tibia. So this is the horizontal section of the superior surface of the tibia, which we are looking or we are viewing from the superior side. Now here, this is the tibial tubercle where ligamentum patelli is attached, and here we are going to show the triangular fold which will be known as infrapatellar fold. So that infrapatellar fold we are going to show in this way. This will be the infrapatellar fold. Infrapatellar fold of synovial membrane. Similarly, we are going to show the entire capsular attachment. So the capsular attachment, entire capsular attachment we are going to show in this way. This is where the capsule is attached. Here we are showing the entire attachment on the articular margin of the tibia. This is how the capsule is attached. The entire capsular attachment. Similarly, inside we are going to show the two semilunar cartilages, and these two semilunar cartilages we are going to show in such a way that now this semilunar cartilage here, this is the medial semilunar cartilage, and over here we are going to show the lateral semilunar cartilage. So therefore, the medial semilunar cartilage, put in the color inside, and it is ovoid in shape with more anteroposterior dimension, and the lateral semilunar cartilage, which will be circular in shape, the lateral semilunar cartilage. And as already discussed, the peripheral margin of the semilunar cartilages, they are covered or they are attached with capsule. Now we need to show synovial membrane. Now this synovial membrane is reflected in the horizontal section of the tibia in such a way that it will cover the inner surface of the capsule. Remember, it will not cover the superior or inferior surface of the semilunar cartilages. No. It will not cover articular cartilage as well as the semilunar cartilages. These semilunar cartilages are nothing but menisci. The medial semilunar cartilage is medial meniscus, the lateral semilunar cartilage is lateral meniscus, medial meniscus, lateral meniscus. So it is not going to cover the articular cartilages of covering the condyles of femur and tibia, as already explained to you. And also the synovial membrane is not going to cover the surfaces of these two semilunar cartilages. That means the surfaces of these two menisci, but it is going to be attached to the margin of these cartilages, because the same synovial membrane will line the inner surface of the capsule. So here we go with the synovial membrane. This is how the tracing in the horizontal section is there. So the synovial membrane, we start with this. This is the infrapatellar synovial fold in horizontal section. So it itself is a projection of synovial membrane. So we continue from here. It is a projection of synovial membrane covering the inner part of capsule. It will cover the inner surface of capsule, and then we pass here inner surface of capsule and we reach posteriorly. We reach posteriorly, leave it like this. Other side also, on the lateral side also, we show it that it is covering the inner surface of the capsule here, covering the inner surface of the capsule and leave it posteriorly. Anteriorly, this is how it is present. That is, it is continuous from the infrapatellar fold, synovial membrane. Now here, in the intercondylar area, this is the intercondylar area of the tibia, here we show two cruciate ligaments. These two cruciate ligaments we need to show, so therefore we are going to show anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments. These are the two anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments which we need to show in the intercondylar area of tibia, horizontal section. So here, once again, now this synovial membrane in the intercondylar area on both the sides, right as well as left side, both the knee joints, and medially and laterally, from posteriorly, this synovial membrane will be projected inside in the form of a cul-de-sac. It's a word which is beautifully described in the textbooks, cul-de-sac. It is in the form of an in-pouching. So it is in the form of cul-de-sac where it will invaginate inside from posterior part of the knee joint, from the posterior margin of the knee joint, that is from the posterior intercondylar area of tibia, it will invaginate inside to form a cul-de-sac where it will cover the sides of these two cruciate ligaments, anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments. The sides of these two anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments are covered by synovial membrane, and this synovial membrane finally will be continuous with the other side, anterior to the anterior cruciate ligament. So in front of anterior cruciate ligament, this synovial membrane is continuous. So what does this show? This synovial membrane on the superior surface of the intercondylar area of tibia will form intercondylar septum. It will form a temporary partition which will separate the medial and lateral condylar areas. And how does it separate medial and lateral condylar areas? By its invagination from posterior side. And we know that this synovial membrane, we have seen, it is invaginating from the posterior side inside. Inside it is invaginating in the intercondylar area in such a way that it will cover the sides of the anterior and posterior cruciate ligament, and then it will cover the anterior cruciate ligament from the front completely. And this shows that the anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments are extrasynovial. They are not present within the synovial cavity. They are present extrasynovial. And which are the structures which are intrasynovial? These structures are intrasynovial, except these two anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments which are extrasynovial. Because we have seen this synovial membrane is forming a sac-like structure, pouch-like structure, which is called cul-de-sac from the posterior. So therefore, there are two condylar cavities, medial and lateral. Now present here, anteriorly, if I show, this is intercondylar foramen. Now this intercondylar foramen is present in front of the cul-de-sac of synovial membrane, in front of anterior cruciate ligament. So this intercondylar foramen will help in communication between medial and lateral condylar joint cavities. So therefore, this intercondylar foramen, the boundaries will be posteriorly, it is bounded by synovial reflection in front of anterior cruciate ligament, and anteriorly it is bounded by this structure. This is known as the infrapatellar fold. This infrapatellar fold itself is a projection of synovial membrane which we have seen. So therefore, this is the intercondylar foramen which will communicate between the medial and lateral joint cavity. Now here, this is the horizontal reflection of synovial membrane which we have shown how it forms a invagination from posteriorly. That means it forms a cul-de-sac which will cover anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments in such a way that the anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments will become extrasynovial. Although they are intracapsular, but they are remaining outside the synovial membrane. This reflection is very important. So here we end the entire synovial membrane. We have studied the capsular ligament and we have studied the synovial membrane, both the structures, how they are reflected. Thank you very much.